At first glance, the ancient philosophy of Stoicism and the enigmatic strategies of dark psychology may appear to be at odds with one another. Stoicism, rooted in self-discipline, emotional regulation, and virtue, champions inner strength and rationality as pathways to personal fulfillment. Conversely, dark psychology delves into the subtler, often manipulative aspects of human behavior, exploring how individuals can influence others' thoughts, emotions, and actions. Yet when these two seemingly disparate philosophies are interwoven thoughtfully, they create a compelling framework for navigating relationships and fostering deep emotional connections without compromising ethical integrity. Stoicism provides a moral compass that ensures the use of psychological tactics remains grounded in respect and fairness. Its core tenets, such as focusing on what is within our control, practicing detachment from external outcomes, and prioritizing virtue over fleeting gratification, serve as safeguards against the misuse of influence. By adopting Stoic principles, individuals can wield psychological strategies not as tools of manipulation, but as means of cultivating meaningful bonds. For instance, while dark psychology might suggest creating scarcity to amplify desire, Stoicism reframes this approach as an exercise in self-mastery, emphasizing the importance of valuing oneself without becoming overly reliant on external validation. Dark psychology, on the other hand, offers insights into the intricate dynamics of human interaction, revealing how subtle cues, timing, and emotional triggers can shape perceptions and behaviors. Techniques such as strategic silence, selective vulnerability, and controlled withdrawal tap into fundamental aspects of human psychology, such as loss aversion, curiosity, and the need for closure. When applied judiciously, these methods can deepen emotional investment and spark longing without resorting to overt coercion or deceit. For example, the art of withholding attention temporarily, a hallmark of both Stoic detachment and dark psychology, can evoke a sense of scarcity and exclusivity, prompting someone to reflect on your value and presence in their life. The fusion of Stoicism and dark psychology also highlights the importance of intentionality and self-awareness in relational dynamics. Stoicism encourages individuals to examine their motivations critically, ensuring that their actions align with higher virtues rather than base desires like envy or revenge. This introspective practice complements dark psychology's emphasis on understanding human behavior, as it fosters a deeper awareness of how one's words and actions impact others. Together, these philosophies promote a balanced approach to influence, one that respects autonomy while nurturing connection. Ultimately, the marriage of Stoicism and dark psychology creates a nuanced toolkit for building lasting relationships. By leveraging Stoic resilience and emotional composure alongside dark psychological insights into human nature, individuals can navigate the complexities of love and attachment with grace and authenticity. This unique synthesis transforms traditional notions of attraction and influence, offering a pathway to making someone miss you, not through manipulation or exploitation, but through thoughtful engagement, unwavering self-respect, and a profound understanding of what drives human connection. Through this lens, the following 12 psychological tricks are designed not to exploit, but to inspire genuine longing, rooted in mutual admiration and respect. Mastering emotional detachment, the art of effortless attraction, one of the most powerful techniques derived from Stoicism, is the principle of emotional detachment, which serves as a cornerstone for making someone miss you. Emotional detachment does not imply indifference or coldness. Rather, it involves maintaining composure and clarity, regardless of external circumstances. By cultivating this Stoic mindset, you position yourself as someone who exudes confidence, stability, and independence, all qualities that naturally draw people toward you. Simultaneously, this practice disrupts the dynamic of neediness that often plagues early-stage relationships, fostering a healthier balance of power and sparking genuine longing. Emotional detachment works because it counters the human tendency to take things for granted. When someone consistently seeks your attention, validates your feelings, or bends over backward to accommodate your needs, their efforts can quickly become invisible. This phenomenon, known as habituation, occurs when repeated exposure diminishes the perceived value of a person or behavior. In contrast, emotional detachment creates moments of absence or unpredictability, breaking the monotony and reigniting curiosity. For instance, if you occasionally decline invitations or take time to focus on personal pursuits, you signal that your presence is not guaranteed indefinitely. This subtle shift compels the other person to reflect on your significance, amplifying their emotional investment. Moreover, emotional detachment enhances your perceived value by introducing an element of scarcity. Human beings are inherently drawn to what is rare or exclusive, a principle rooted in evolutionary psychology. When you limit your availability, whether through deliberate spacing in communication, prioritizing other commitments, or simply guarding your time, you communicate that your attention is precious and cannot be taken for granted. This perception shifts the dynamic from one of abundance to one of scarcity, prompting the other person to invest more emotionally in order to secure your interest. For example, imagine a scenario where you respond to messages thoughtfully but not immediately. The brief delay allows anticipation to build, making each interaction feel more meaningful and memorable. From a Stoic perspective, emotional detachment also protects your emotional well-being. By detaching yourself from the outcomes of interactions, such as whether someone reciprocates your affection or acknowledges your efforts, you avoid becoming overly invested in external validation. This detachment prevents unnecessary suffering and reinforces your ability to remain calm in the face of uncertainty. Instead of reacting impulsively to every text, call, or gesture, you pause to assess the situation objectively and choose a response that aligns with your values. This measured approach not only preserves your peace of mind, but also enhances your perceived wisdom, as thoughtful pauses suggest careful consideration and depth of character. Practicing emotional detachment requires discipline and consistency. Begin by identifying situations where you tend to overreact or seek reassurance excessively. These triggers often stem from fears of rejection, abandonment, or inadequacy. Once identified, work on developing strategies to manage these emotions. For example, if you find yourself obsessing over unanswered messages, redirect your focus to activities that bring you joy or fulfillment. Engaging in hobbies, exercising, or spending time with loved ones not only distracts you from anxieties, but also reinforces your independence and self-worth. Over time, this practice builds emotional resilience, enabling you to navigate relationships with greater poise and confidence. Another effective way to cultivate emotional detachment is through mindfulness techniques. Practices such as meditation, deep breathing, or journaling help you stay present and centered, preventing your mind from spiraling into anxious thoughts or overanalyzing interactions. By observing your emotions without judgment, you gain greater control over them, allowing you to respond to situations with intentionality rather than impulse. This heightened self-awareness strengthens your ability to detach emotionally while remaining authentically engaged. Ultimately, emotional detachment transforms how others perceive and interact with you. By embodying composure and self-assurance, you project an aura of confidence that captivates attention and sparks curiosity. Your consistent display of emotional fortitude makes you all the more intriguing, leaving the other person wondering how you maintain such poise even in challenging situations. Their mind will naturally drift back to you whenever they encounter difficulties, seeking solace in the image of your unwavering composure. Through this subtle yet powerful strategy, you'll effortlessly occupy their thoughts without lifting a finger, proving that sometimes the greatest impact comes from doing the least. In summary, mastering emotional detachment is a potent technique for making someone miss you, seamlessly blending Stoic principles with psychological insights. By maintaining composure, practicing self-restraint, and introducing elements of scarcity, you elevate your desirability while fostering healthier relational dynamics. This approach not only protects your emotional well-being, but also ensures that your presence lingers in their mind as a source of fascination and admiration. Through the artful interplay of Stoicism and emotional detachment, you achieve effortless attraction, transforming fleeting interest into enduring longing. Strategic silence. The power of pausing to amplify. Desire, one of the most potent tools in the arsenal of dark psychology, when wielded with Stoic discipline, is strategic silence. This technique involves deliberately withholding verbal responses at critical moments, creating a vacuum that compels the other person to fill with their own thoughts, questions, and emotions. Rooted in the Stoic principle of apatheia, freedom from destructive passions, strategic silence is not an act of indifference but a calculated choice to enhance communication and deepen emotional engagement. By choosing when to speak and when to remain silent, you assert control over the narrative of your interactions, subtly guiding the direction of the relationship while maintaining an air of mystery and intrigue. Why strategic silence captivates attention? Human beings are inherently social creatures who crave feedback and acknowledgement during conversations. When met with silence instead of the expected response, individuals experience cognitive dissonance, a mental tension arising from unmet expectations. This discomfort drives them to seek resolution, often prompting introspection and deeper engagement. In romantic relationships, strategic silence operates as a psychological lever, shifting the balance of power and intensifying emotional investment. For instance, imagine a scenario where your partner shares something vulnerable or emotionally charged. Instead of immediately responding with sympathy or advice, you pause thoughtfully, allowing the weight of their words to settle. This deliberate silence communicates attentiveness and respect, giving them space to process their emotions independently. Simultaneously, it invites them to reflect on the significance of their disclosure, deepening their connection to the moment and to you. Over time, this pattern fosters trust and admiration as they come to associate your presence with a safe space for authentic expression. From a Stoic perspective, strategic silence also serves as a shield against impulsivity. By resisting the urge to react immediately, you preserve your emotional composure and ensure that your words carry greater impact when spoken. This restraint not only reinforces your self-discipline, but also enhances your perceived wisdom, as thoughtful pauses suggest careful consideration and depth of character. Your partner will find themselves drawn to your measured responses, intrigued by the layers of meaning behind your quiet demeanor. How to implement strategic silence effectively. To harness the full potential of strategic silence, it must be employed with intentionality and precision. Below are practical guidelines for integrating this technique into your interactions. Pause before responding. Whenever you find yourself in a potentially charged situation, whether it's receiving criticism, navigating conflict, or processing heartfelt confessions, take a moment to breathe deeply before replying. This pause allows you to assess the situation objectively and choose a response that aligns with your values rather than your immediate emotions. A well-timed silence can diffuse tension, encourage reflection, and set the tone for constructive dialogue. Use silence to amplify key moments. During pivotal conversations, such as discussions about future plans or expressions of affection, let your words linger in the air before elaborating further. For example, after declaring your intentions or sharing a meaningful insight, allow a brief pause to underscore the gravity of your statement. This technique heightens its emotional resonance, making it more memorable and impactful. Avoid filling every moment with sound. Resist the temptation to dominate conversations or provide constant updates. Allow natural lulls to occur, giving your partner opportunities to contribute and reflect. Similarly, don't overwhelm them with incessant communication. Let your interactions ebb and flow organically. These gaps create anticipation and reinforce the notion that your attention is precious. Communicate confidence through body language. Pair your silence with relaxed, open body language to convey assurance and ease. Maintain steady eye contact, adopt a calm posture, and avoid fidgeting or checking your phone excessively. These nonverbal cues reinforce the impression that you are fully present and in control, enhancing the effectiveness of your strategic pauses. Monitor reactions and adjust accordingly. Pay close attention to how your partner responds during moments of silence. Do they become more introspective? Express curiosity? or grow visibly uncomfortable. Their behavior provides valuable insight into the strength of their attachment and helps you gauge whether further silence is warranted. Use this feedback to refine your approach and tailor your interactions to their emotional needs. The psychological impact of strategic silence. When implemented effectively, strategic silence triggers a cascade of psychological effects that deepen emotional bonds and amplify attraction. First, it creates a sense of scarcity, as your limited verbal engagement signals exclusivity and high value. Your partner begins to cherish the moments when you do speak, assigning greater significance to your words and actions. This liberation allows genuine connection to flourish, untainted by obligation or guilt. Furthermore, strategic silence amplifies perceived authority. Just as luxury brands leverage exclusivity to enhance desirability, your measured verbal engagement elevates your status in your partner's eyes. They begin to associate you with feelings of security and admiration, making it impossible for them not to think about you, even during mundane moments. Your consistent display of strategic silence leaves them questioning how you achieve such poise, sparking their desire to understand and connect with you on a deeper level. Ultimately, strategic silence transforms ordinary conversations into opportunities for discovery, ensuring that your partner remains engaged and reflective long after the interaction ends. Whether it's deciphering your cryptic remarks, unraveling your layered personality, or simply wondering what you'll do next, they'll find themselves consumed by thoughts of you, effortlessly ensnared by the allure of the unknown. Through strategic silence, you transform yourself into a beacon of stability in your partner's life. It communicates that you're not easily swayed by fleeting emotions or external pressures, which makes you all the more intriguing. Their mind will naturally drift back to you whenever they encounter challenges, seeking solace in the image of your unwavering composure. Through this artful blend of restraint and charisma, you'll achieve effortless attraction, proving that sometimes the greatest impact comes from doing the least. Leveraging scarcity, the allure of limited availability, in the intricate dance of romantic attraction. The principle of scarcity emerges as a cornerstone strategy, seamlessly blending Stoic virtues of self-mastery and emotional independence with the psychological insights of dark psychology. Scarcity in this context refers to the perception that your time, attention, or affection is limited and therefore highly valuable. By strategically embracing scarcity, you tap into fundamental human instincts tied to desire and competition, making yourself irresistibly appealing without overt effort. This approach aligns perfectly with Stoic teachings, which advocate for focusing on what truly matters while letting go of the need to please everyone, thereby enhancing your attractiveness through calculated detachment. Why? Scarcity sparks, obsession, scarcity, operates on a primal level, exploiting the human tendency to value what is rare or exclusive. Evolutionary psychology suggests that our ancestors prioritized resources and opportunities that were scarce because they offered greater survival advantages. Today, this principle applies equally to social interactions and romantic relationships. When someone perceives you as unavailable or selective with your attention, they automatically assign higher worth to your presence. Scarcity creates a sense of urgency, prompting her to invest more emotionally in order to secure your interest. Consider a simple analogy. Diamonds are coveted not just for their beauty, but because they are rare. Similarly, when you limit your availability, whether through deliberate spacing in communication, prioritizing other commitments, or simply guarding your time, you signal that your attention is a prize worth earning. This dynamic shifts the balance of power subtly, yet significantly, encouraging her to pursue you actively, rather than taking you for granted. By practicing scarcity, you position yourself as someone whose approval must be earned rather than assumed, amplifying your desirability exponentially. How to implement scarcity ethically. While scarcity can be a powerful tool, it must be wielded with care to avoid crossing into manipulative territory. The goal is not to withhold affection or information arbitrarily, but to create natural boundaries that reflect your priorities and self-worth. Below are practical ways to implement scarcity, effectively space out communication. Avoid bombarding her with constant messages or updates. Let conversations flow organically, allowing pauses between exchanges. For example, if she texts you first, resist the urge to reply immediately unless absolutely necessary. A thoughtful delay builds anticipation and reinforces the idea that your attention is precious. Prioritize personal goals. Dedicate time to pursuits that fulfill you personally, whether it's advancing your career, pursuing hobbies, or spending time with friends and family. When she sees glimpses of your vibrant life outside of her, she'll naturally want to be part of it, and will work harder to earn a place in your world. Occasionally, decline invitations. Saying no occasionally demonstrates that your schedule is full and that your time is valuable. Whether it's declining a casual hangout due to prior commitments or opting out of plans because you need downtime, these choices communicate that you have a rich, multifaceted life that doesn't revolve solely around her. Be selective with affection. Show warmth and kindness, but don't overdo it too soon. Reserve grand gestures of affection for moments when they carry genuine meaning. For instance, instead of showering her with compliments early on, sprinkle them sparingly and authentically. This approach ensures that each expression of affection feels earned and significant. Maintain independence. Continue nurturing aspects of your identity that exist independently of the relationship. Whether it's traveling solo, attending events alone, or engaging in activities she isn't involved in, maintaining independence reinforces your self-sufficiency and confidence. This self-sufficiency makes you even more desirable. The psychological impact of scarcity. When implemented ethically, scarcity operates on multiple levels of psychology. First, it triggers cognitive dissonance, the mental tension that arises when someone wants something but perceives it as difficult to obtain. To resolve this imbalance, she'll increase her efforts to secure your attention, investing more emotionally in the process. Second, scarcity fosters curiosity. If she senses that you're not always available, she'll start wondering why and become increasingly intrigued by your life and personality. Finally, scarcity amplifies perceived value. Just as luxury brands leverage exclusivity to enhance desirability, your limited availability elevates your status in her eyes. Through scarcity, you transform yourself from an ordinary option into a sought-after prize. She'll find herself thinking about you constantly, pondering how to capture your attention and win your affection. And because you've positioned yourself as someone whose approval must be earned rather than assumed, she'll cherish every moment she does spend with you, all without you having to lift a finger. Ultimately, leveraging scarcity is about striking a delicate balance. You don't want to come across as aloof or indifferent, but rather as someone who has a rich, multifaceted life that doesn't revolve solely around any one person. By doing so, you position yourself as a prize worth chasing, a man whose attention must be earned rather than assumed. And when she realizes that your time is a gift rather than an entitlement, she'll treasure it all the more, fueling her obsession without you having to lift a finger. Cultivating mystery. The art of leaving her wanting. More mystery is a magnetic force that keeps people coming back for more, and when combined with Stoic principles of self-restraint and emotional regulation, it becomes a masterstroke in the art of attraction. Rooted in the Stoic virtue of moderation, cultivating mystery involves revealing aspects of your personality, life, or intentions gradually and selectively, inviting her to dig deeper and engage more fully. This principle resonates strongly with Stoic philosophy, which advocates for moderation and restraint, qualities that naturally foster intrigue. By leaving certain aspects of your persona veiled, you create an irresistible pull toward those who refuse to reveal everything at once. This technique not only amplifies your allure, but also ensures that she thinks about you nonstop, drawn to the authenticity and depth you bring to every interaction. Why mystery captivates attention from a psychological standpoint. Mystery works because humans crave closure. When information is incomplete or ambiguous, our brains are wired to fill in the gaps. This phenomenon, known as the Zeigarnik effect, explains why unfinished stories or unresolved questions linger in our minds longer than resolved ones. By presenting yourself as someone with layers yet to be discovered, you keep her curiosity alive and ensure that she continues thinking about you long after your interactions end. Moreover, mystery disrupts predictable patterns, breaking the monotony of routine interactions. Most people operate within familiar frameworks, small talk, predictable responses, and transparent motives. When you introduce an element of unpredictability, you stand out as someone unique and captivating. She'll find herself replaying past interactions, searching for clues about who you really are, even mundane moments like scrolling to living integrity, ivness-essiveness, ving to play, ivingnessiveness solving and realize respectful, seizing essiveness, empathy, illity-eyes living s, actively engage it, ivinessiveness, using your respecting tunes plovement, to Herman self-perceiving to live are mundirectingly practice your life, your path, iveness, essiveness, your outlook, diving telenesically beginning to living, tuvlessiveness, tweaving to play out at summary, einently, you toyered, tickle v seizing toiving to engage, answering the lively, you locatively compassionate, aining to you stisensiveness, apting toving to you, genetically soundings to yourself, other uical engagement to play, this toiving to fostering toving with, your with you stainable which to living with your